Alright folks, we have returned. It is now time for the 56th and final case in the World Edition for Criminal Case. Thanks to A, Nini, and Daniela for these reports for case 56, The Darkest Hour. Matthew, I can't believe we're finally done with Sombra. After all this time, it's over. El Rey's in prison and his plans have failed. We've won. We won. A part of me is sad Chief Ripley's not here with us celebrating, but on the other hand, it was our mistakes that allowed Sombra to flourish. The CIA never should have made a deal with Sombra to use them as a convenient enemy, but Ripley tried to right her wrongs by creating the Bureau. And of course she stood down and left now that Sombra's done. I'll never get tired of hearing the words Sombra's done. We can finally move on with our lives. Matthew, everyone, wait! Put down your drinks! The President of the United States, he's been kidnapped! What do you mean the President's been kidnapped? I mean someone snatched him off his plane in New York! Matthew, this must be El Rey's doing. Putting him in jail didn't stop his attack on the President. He must have had a backup plan. That's why he was so cheerful at his trial. I knew stopping Sombra couldn't be this easy. Matthew, this is a disaster. The press got hold of the news and people are panicking. If we don't find the President soon and alive, we'll have chaos on our hands. The FBI have already swept Air Force One, but I got permission for us to take another look. Let's go now. We'll find a lead even if we have to turn the plane upside down. Let's go, Matthew. This is going to be the most important case of our careers. I got 13 hints during the downtime. Oh, that's a clue. Clock. Eagle clasp. There we go. It's been a long time. This bolo tie clasp looks familiar. You're right, Matthew. President Hewitt was wearing it when we met him at Camp Rushmore. The clasp must have fallen off during a struggle with whoever took him. Let's dust it for prints. And this clock looks nice, but I don't know what you think it's going to... Wait, you're right. This lens definitely isn't part of the clock's mechanism. This must be a hidden camera. And I would have realized that immediately if I turned the clock around, like you did. Sorry, Matthew, the stress must be getting to me. If we're lucky, the cameras recorded the President's kidnapping. Let's unlock it at once. And we will, but first I need to get some stars. Alright, I have myself 7 stars, but I did unlock the crime scene over here, so I'm gonna just quickly see... Oh, Times Square. Alright, lock camera. AT1, ESC, and CA8. Matthew, the footage on this hidden camera might tell us who kidnapped President Hewitt and whether he left the plane alive. Let's press play. My dear, I'm tired of arguing with you. And there are days where I'm tired of you. Look at yourself. I make a better president than you any day of the week. Now you're being too harsh. I'm still the president and I deserve your respect. And I deserve so much more than just being your wife. Uh-oh. That camera didn't capture the kidnapping, but it did record the president arguing with his wife. You met the First Lady at Camp Rushmore, didn't you? What was she like? You found proof she was having an affair? So she was cheating on her husband, and she clearly doesn't think much of him as a president. Matthew, it's time to have a chat with the First Lady. About the argument with her husband? Marshal Matthew, I hope you're doing all you can to find my husband. We are, ma'am, and it's good to hear your concerns. Given how angry you were at him, we have evidence of your fight. And what? Do you imagine I kidnapped poor Jim because of it? Don't be ridiculous. I'm the First Lady of the United States. Whatever I think of my husband as a man, I know he's a person of great strategic importance to my country. Not to be blunt, but you telling him he wasn't fit to be president wasn't exactly respectful. Enough! Jim's kidnapping is an act of war against the U.S., and you'll find the culprits faster if you don't jump at shadows and accuse me of all people. Marshal Matthew will accuse whoever they need in order to get at the truth, Mrs. Hewitt. Yes, I will. Of course, not in real life, though. I like to have reasonable doubt first. Here, it's no problem. There we go. Fingerprints. Matthew, the fingerprints you swiped out the president's tie clasp could tell us who kidnapped him. Let's check the database. Perfect. Baxter Frazier? Uh-oh. The fingerprints from the president's tie clasp belong to Baxter Frazier? As in the Baxter Frazier who was a genetically enhanced Sombra recruit? We last saw Baxter on Sombra's secret island. Back then, he seemed to have turned against Sombra. But finding him where the president was kidnapped can't be a coincidence. He must still be working for El Rey. We need to talk to Baxter immediately. About his presence on Air Force One? Baxter, you better come clean. Where's the president? We found your fingerprints on his belongings. Marshal Matthew, it's not what you think. I swear, I'm the president's bodyguard. Don't lie to us. How would you ever get the job or pass the background checks? I saved his life. He was giving a speech and there was a guy, with a gun anyway. I have super strength and I got to him before anyone else did. The president decided to hire me. He said his favorite Secret Service guy had died recently and I wanted to do good with my powers. If this is your idea of protecting the president, I didn't kidnap him. I'm not working for Sombra anymore. You have to believe me. Marshal Matthew only has to believe evidence, and it's not looking good for you, Baxter. We're taking you into custody. Matthew, every passing minute is bringing us closer to disaster. The president's been gone for hours. What if Sombra's already killed him? After all, nobody's asked for a ransom, and assassinating him was exactly what El Rey planned to do. The U.S. is already in political turmoil, which Sombra clearly plans to take advantage of, and the U.S.'s fate will affect the whole world. I wish you could get the plan details out of El Rey, but he's just going to gloat at us. We can't waste any time. Matthew, come quick! An unmarked van has just dumped a body at Times Square. What? Matthew, we need to get to Times Square now. Okay, just a sec, guys.
Sorry guys, my desktop had kind of failed out on me, so I had to do it on another one at my grandma's house, so let's investigate Times Square.
You said that the workers who were not productive were sent to the camps. Is that correct? And they were replaced by other workers. And if those workers were productive, they
Oh no, that looks like Natasha Romanova. Let's see if it is. Yeah, it is.
Look at the defendant, Mrs. Can you say with
Letter opener.
reasonable doubt that he is Jacob Schoolman?
Yep, lunch remains.
Thank you. We're walking up the down escalator.
Every time we get close to the top, Lomothal turns up the velocity. What'd you expect? Trying to reconstruct reality.
Oh, thank God the body isn't the president's. I fear the worst when we were called out here. But you're right. We know this woman. This is Natasha Romanova. She worked for Sombra back in Russia. She headed Cosmos, and you put her behind bars when she launched Sombra satellite in Kazakhstan. Oh God, what about Marina? I know they didn't get along, but Natasha was still her mom. This is going to be tough. You're right, Matthew. We need to focus on the body. Looks like Natasha's throat was slit with that letter opener. That's our murder weapon. Wait, I recognize the coat of arms on this thing. It's the symbol of the U.S. presidency. The only way Natasha could have come in contact with this letter opener is if she took part in the kidnapping. But she's dead now, and the president's still missing. Which means whoever killed her must have been involved in the kidnapping too. And that killer still has the president captive. We gotta get the letter opener to Lars. Hopefully it'll shed some light on what happened here. All of Times Square is overturned. The place must have been packed earlier when the body was dropped. What we need is a witness. And if searching through that lunch can give us that witness, so be it. Let's do this. Matthew, we don't know who killed Natasha, but we know one thing, the president's in more danger than ever.
You counsel many survivors. Isn't that true?
I conduct weekly meetings, yes.
And is it true that many survivors
Cool.
live with enormous guilt over the past?
Just like old times.
Feel guilty of
Get to start this immediately.
As a therapist, would you call this guilt irrational?
And let's get the lunch remains out of the way since we only need just 1 star for this.
Right. She didn't blame herself. She blamed her husband.
When she got sick, he did everything for her.
There we go.
Carried her to the
A
bathroom,
phone.
up the stairs.
Jackpot! Whoever lost their phone in this pile of food must have been here when Natasha's body was dumped. Let's unlock the phone, quick.
What, if any, indications did you have that your mother committed suicide, Mrs. Fair?
For the past 5 months, her condition deteriorated. She didn't want to be with us anymore. After a few days before she died, I went to visit her, and she showed me where she kept her room.
Oh,
She told me that she wanted
Pulitzer.
things in order.
Lucky thing I was able to figure that out.
No more questions. She never talked about the
Matthew, I know the man on this phone. I used to work with him when I was a journalist. It's Rick Murray, a fellow investigative reporter. Rick and I go way back. He actually helped me out with my Pulitzer-winning piece. It'll be nice to see him again. Except you're right. We need to ask Rick what he saw when Natasha's body was dumped here. Let's go, Matthew. There we go.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for giving Leanne the strength.
What he saw at Times Square?
Thanks for giving
Carmen Martinez, as I live and breathe. Good to see you again, old girl. Crazy times, huh? The president kidnapped. What a news day. Hi, Rick. Marshal Matthew would like to question you about what you saw here earlier. Man, it's been intense. I was interviewing people on the street, getting reactions to the president's kidnapping. And then bam! Unmarked van rushes by, drops corpse, bloodied weapon. Police swarm in, people panic. Did you see who dropped the body? Girl, if I had, it'd already be front page news. Instead, we've just got Russians involved in the president's kidnapping. I gotta say, getting abducted is Hewitt's best move in years. You should see the hit count on our news page. Your hit count? Is that what you're worried about, Rick? It's the U.S. president we're talking about. You say president, I say walking embarrassment. I won't miss Hewitt's incompetence, and the kidnapping drama is great for business. Well, I'm gonna definitely speed up the body because I was definitely supposed to start it last night, but never got around to it because of computer problems. I'll let the letter opener run its course though. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright folks, we're back. I'm going to get the results of the letter opener. Matthew, it's mind-boggling that Marina's mom helped kidnap the U.S. president. I know, I wish that we had time to go talk to her, but I'm sure Jonah's with her. Matthew, given everything, I don't feel like joking. I'd best just tell you what I found on the murder weapon. The blood on the letter opener obviously belongs to Natasha, but more to the point, I also found traces of dust on the handle. The dust had the molecular structure of non-benzodiazepines, meaning sedatives used to treat short-term insomnia. In other words, your killer takes sleeping pills. Matthew, given that this killer also kidnapped the president, no wonder their conscience is letting them sleep. Isn't letting them sleep. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up.
To be brief, the final Jeopardy category is
Matthew, I can't believe the president's been kidnapped, and now Marina's mom is dead. Poor Marina's holed up in her office. I tried to bring her some tea, but she says she wasn't ready to talk. The news channels are saying that if the former Cosmos head took part in the kidnapping, the Russians must be behind it all. Must be behind it all. The Russians? More like Sombra. El Rey had planned this all along. Be that as it may, blood on the back of Natasha's head shows the killer hit her over the head, and then slashed her throat with the letter opener and transported her body to Times Square. There were bruises on her body, which Jonah says are consistent with damage from military hand-to-hand combat techniques. Which means that our killer, the person who's got the president, has military training. Thanks, Grace. Wait, Matthew, that's not all. In Natasha's jacket pocket, I found a business card, probably from someone Natasha met, one Leela Malak. Leela Malak? Matthew, she's the UN High Commissioner we met back in Alaska. How could Natasha, a Sombra-affiliated fugitive from jail, have possibly met Leela? Leela had better have a good explanation, Matthew. Okay, this is a new coin, so fortunate. Oh my goodness. Oh well, never mind. About the victim? Miss Malak, we found your business card on Natasha Romanova, one of the president's kidnappers. How did you know her? Marshal Matthew, until I saw the news, I had no idea that this Russian diplomat wanted to abduct President Hewitt. This Russian what? Natasha Romanova's no diplomat. She's affiliated with Sombra. What? But her credentials seemed impeccable. Miss Romanova approached me to arrange a meeting between her and President Hewitt to discuss tensions between the U.S. and Russia. So I negotiated for her to meet President Hewitt on Air Force One. And in so doing, you put the president in danger. We know Natasha had an accomplice who later killed her, and maybe that was you, Miss Malak. I never meant for any of this to happen, Marshal Matthew. I only wanted to promote peaceful dialogue between the U.S. and Russia. I hope for your sake that it's true, or you'll end up promoting peaceful dialogue between yourself and your prison wardens, Miss Malak. Matthew, have you found the president? Unfortunately not, but we did find a body, and the victim is Natasha Romanova, whom we arrested for helping Sombra back in Russia. Given that Natasha was killed with the president's own letter opener, she was clearly part of the kidnapping. But why was her body dumped at Times Square with the murder weapon next to it? It's like Sombra wants everyone to know Natasha was involved. And now that people know that, the rumor spread that the Russian government is behind the abduction. This must be what El Rey aimed for, pin the blame on the Russians, anger the US, and trick the country into launching the global crisis Sombra wants. One thing is certain, whoever killed Natasha still has the president. We have to find this killer, and quick. And I hope you do find them, Matthew. My mother was like a stranger to me, but her death is still a shock. It's okay to grieve, Fluffo Bun. I know it's okay, Jonah. I'm the psychologist here. And Matthew, please let me know if I can do anything to help you find the president. You can do something right this moment. FBI, put your hands in the air. Marina Romanova, you're under arrest. What? Oh my God!
Jeopardy remotes, Constitution Hall here in the heart of our nation's capital.
We'll start Chapter 2 in just a moment. Okay, folks, let's start Chapter 2 of The Darkest Hour. Matthew, have you found the president? No, but we know who kidnapped him. Natasha Romanova, our old Sombra enemy. Unfortunately, Natasha is a literal dead end. From what we found, it's clear she was killed by her accomplice, a fellow Sombra agent, who then dumped her body at Times Square. Sombra made it look like the Russians were behind the kidnapping, and now the US is on the brink of war with Russia. We need to find the president, assuming he's still alive. And to find him, we have to find Natasha's killer. Matthew, I hated that my mother was involved in all this. I wish there was something I could do to help you. There's something you can do right now. FBI, put your hands in the air. Marina Romanova, you're under arrest. What? Why? You're Natasha Romanova's daughter, which makes you her accomplice in the president's kidnapping. That's preposterous. Marina is loyal to the Bureau. She helped us arrest her mother last time. We've got our orders, ma'am. How dare you touch her? Marina was with me the whole day. She can't have kidnapped anyone. Lower your gun or you'll be arrested next, Mr. Karam. I don't care. Arrest me. But you're not taking Marina. Jonah, no. You can't help me if you're also in prison. Listen to her, Jonah. Marina, I'll get you out of there. I love you. I know.
Who is Apollo? No, who is Alexander? The great Alexander.
Come along, Miss Romanova.
Pick again. What are you doing for 1,000? English settlers in the New World used this word from colloquially.
Why did you stop me from breaking those agents' faces, Carmen? I could have busted Marina out. And then what? Go on the run? This situation won't be resolved with fists. We need to talk to someone in a position of authority. What about the vice president? We met her back in San Francisco, and she seemed reasonable. She might see us now. Good idea, but I want to keep an eye on Jonah. I'm afraid I'll do something stupid, like storm a federal prison by himself. I'll come with you, Matthew. Let's hope the vice president will listen to us and free Marina.
It's a belief not based in reason that something if you perform a particular action, or if you don't. Porter, what is karma? No. Apurva.
What is superstition?
That's the word, and now the $1,000 clue.
Madam Vice President, our colleague has nothing to do with the president's kidnapping. I understand that you like to think so, Marshal Matthew, but Miss Romanova is too suspicious, given her mother's involvement. I still can't believe these Russians got past our defenses. Ma'am, Russia isn't behind this. President Hewitt was kidnapped by an international criminal organization called Sombra. Please don't insult my intelligence. I know that Sombra doesn't exist. I started my career in the CIA. Back during military training, we were told about an enemy so secret all files on them were classified. But as I climbed the ranks, I learned the truth. Sombra was a made-up threat, an excuse for us to operate in various foreign countries. Marshal Matthew, if you meant to vouch for your colleague by invoking this old lie, please don't bother. Ma'am, sorry to interrupt, but we just found the van Romanova used to transport the president after kidnapping him. And its GPS coordinates let us know where she took him, to the Cloisters. There could have been a better place for this debriefing, but thank you, Agent Riordan. Ma'am, we'll take our leave. Matthew, we need to get to the Cloisters. The president could still be there. I hope so.
BLT cheeseburger combo, only $5.99. Combos done my way. You like leaving it out?
I just don't think Marina will be a suspect at all.
Ordinarily long lines, that's contributed to an increase in
Back to moment.
Healing lotion.
Okay, false alarm.
Three vitamins. Leave skin nourished, healed, healthy looking. Gold Bond. If you can't shut down at bedtime, you're not alone. Get non-habit-forming Unisom to fall asleep fast. Unisom, a stressful day deserves a sleep.
Our basketball champion Porter has the catching up to in Double Jeopardy, and here are the categories for you, Porter. We're going to the movies. We follow that with science guys. Washington
Bloody gloves. Uh-oh.
Body Squad. Notable teams and
Prayer book.
games. Good variety. Where do we start?
I'll take notable teens for 1600.
There we are.
Frank and the younger gang robbed his first bank in 1866. Porter,
Who's Buffalo Bill?
no. Lily or approval? Jesse James. Pick again,
Got
Porter.
the first star already.
Teens for 1200.
In 2016, a British 15-year-old got $250,000 for
10,000 more.
a new race of these remote-controlled craft around a track.
Look at all that blood, Matthew. Could this be where Natasha was killed? Or do you think it's the president's?
Was an asset in
Whoever the victim, the killer must have worn these gloves. Let's take a sample of blood from them, quick.
Aporva.
And the hair in that prayer book could give us a lead on what happened here. Let's collect it. Matthew, Natasha took the president to this place, but what happened out there remains a mystery. The future of this company depends on us. This country depends on us solving it.
Ice cream, you scream for these bite-sized chocolate-covered ice cream treats with a double-talk name. Porter.
What are dibs?
No. Aporva or Lily? What are bonbons? Back to you, Porter. Movies for chocolate. The ticket guy knows me, so I'm front row center to this 2016 monster movie sequel with an address for a title.
Movies 2000.
Matthew, let's send the blood from the gloves to Lars. We need to know who was murdered here.
Film. Porter,
What is Rotten Tomatoes?
.com. Yes.
Movies 800.
Answer. I love this format that gives up to 40% more image and
All right,
highest
and
quality
prayer book.
Lily.
This HD.
No. Porter.
What is IMAX?
You are right.
400. Movies 400.
My favorite part of going is watching the previews called these, like something a car pulls. Porter.
What are trailers?
Yes.
Washington jargon for one.
A hole in a boat or information given to the press without permission. Porter.
What is a leak? 800.
Here we are, 7.
Government to an organization. Block is one title.
Matthew, let's put the hair from the book under the microscope.
An envoy, such as an ambassador. It can also mean anyone who's tactful and avoids outright conflict. Lily?
Who is a diplomat?
Yes.
Washington jargon for 16.
Though they weren't mounted
All right.
pictures, the founding fathers of the Constitution are known as
3, there we are.
Who are the framers? Washington jargon for 2000.
Once there were hopes for an
There we are.
between Obama and the GOP. The grand this type of deal. Lily,
What is a compromise?
we'll accept that. Grand compromise or bargain. Yes.
Notable teens for
Okay.
Teen Emperor Elagabalus forced all important Romans.
There we go.
Some type of this.
Baxter Fraser's hair.
Yeah.
Bodies of water 1600.
The hair from the book you found at the Cloisters belongs to Baxter? This means he had to be involved in the kidnapping. I knew it. So much for leaving Sombra behind and using his powers for good.
What is Sri Lanka?
Good thing Baxter's already in our holding cells, Matthew. Let him try to weasel out now.
What is Lake Titicaca?
That's it.
Bodies of water for 400.
About having been at the Cloisters.
How Lisa separates this.
Baxter, the game is up. We found your DNA at the Cloisters. We know you helped Natasha kidnap the president. You have proof I was there? That's bad, but can't. What's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong. I maybe overdosed on some sleeping pills. Hard to judge the dosage with my super fast metabolism. Just don't ask me anything, I beg you. I can't talk, Marshal Matthew. You have no choice. What happened at the Cloisters? Is the president still alive? This isn't military training anymore. You can't give me orders. My head, it's killing me. Just leave me alone. Matthew, I can't believe it. We finally have a solid lead, and we can't get anything out of him. I wish Marina was here. We'll just have to dig up the truth some other way. Baxter, if you're faking this fit, you'll live to regret it.
What is a kiss?
Yes.
1200. X-game, sorry.
I'll let the blood run its course, and I'll see you when that's done. Alright, I'm under unlimited energy happy hour, so I'm going to speed up the blood.
Oh, he had this little place up in the Poconos from his mom. She died recently from the...
Matthew, I can't believe the FBI arrested Marina.
It wasn't going so hot.
I know, bro. I thought Jonah was going to murder someone. But speaking of murder, whose blood was it on the gloves? Good news, Matthew. The blood wasn't the president's. Phew. So maybe Sombra hasn't killed him yet. Yet being the worrying part of that sentence. But yes, the blood matched Natasha's. So she's the one who was killed at the Cloisters. She must have brought the president there, and then her accomplice murdered her and moved the body and the president elsewhere. But how do we find them? This might help. Your blood sample was contaminated by traces of aldehydes, esters, and phenolic compounds indicative of whiskey. These traces sure didn't come from the blood itself, so they must have been on the killer's gloves. Which means our killer drinks whiskey. Matthew, we'll soon give them a reason to drown their sorrows. Matthew, I hate it that Sombra keeps one step ahead of us. We know where Natasha took the president, but he's no longer there. And we must find him before he comes to harm. With everyone blaming Russia for the kidnapping, we might get declarations of war if he turns up dead. Who cares about politics? You need to prove Marina innocent. Cool it, Jonah, we're on it. Let's think. We know the president's kidnapper killed Natasha at the Cloisters and then dumped her body at Times Square. Somewhere along the line, they must have made mistakes. Let's comb Times Square again.
Eating raspberry pie. That's what you had in the stomach. Then you figured Sawyer shot down within an hour of being shot.
Well, what about his cell records?
Here we are right here. We got outgoing calls to his ex-wife, Nick Biagio, and his construction office.
Okay.
And two law firms, neither of which were handling his divorce. Then incoming from his ex-wife, his construction office. And the last call came in 11 minutes before he was shot from a phone booth on Leonard and West Broadway.
It's a few blocks from the crime scene.
Can you put it up on the map?
Okay, let's see. What clues are we going to find here?
Let's see a street view.
Oh, newspaper. That's a clue. Donut.
Check out the guy across the street.
Tablet.
Mr.
Uh-oh.
Came in here, sat right there by himself for an hour.
That lady on the tablet looks like Angela.
Seriously happy. I thought he'd been sucking on that oxygen tank.
There we go.
What was he so happy about?
He said he was gonna stick it to the guy who was sticking it to him.
Wait, who was that?
The guy who he said he was waiting for.
Whatever this newspaper article says, it's clearly about the president. A dusting will reveal the text. And the photo on this tablet must have been taken about the time Natasha's body was dropped here, judging by the people panicking. You're right. The woman in the foreground looks like she's trying hard to pass by unnoticed. Her face is too blurry to make out. I say we look this woman up in the database. Let's go, Matthew. There's not a moment to lose. Here we go.
I wanted to cut a side deal with you guys.
Arabic text. I didn't expect this newspaper to be in Arabic. It must be an international edition or something. We've got to know what it says about the president. Let's get the article to Dupont.
The FAA ruled out terrorism, so that leaves negligence on the part of the airline and the manufacturer.
12 hours, but this one I will not speed up. I'm just going to let it run its course.
Punitive damages, we're looking at multiples of 100 million.
Our records show that Charlie Sherman called you when he was murdered.
Yes, he called every week, asking when he was going to see his mom. I know things were tight for him. Thanks, Warren. Please, our depots for the airlines and mechanics about working double shifts.
OMG.
Checks. We even have affidavits from the supplier.
It is Angela. What? No! Matthew, the woman in this photo can't be Angela. How did she even get out of jail? She's supposed to rot in there for betraying us. Hasn't she already done enough to mess with us and break Lars's heart? Did she help kidnap the president too? Matthew, Angela, she's... Yes, we know. She broke out of jail. No, you don't understand. Angela's here. Oh my God.
So you think this is funny? Not really. 96 people are dead.
97, if you count Charles Sawyer. You do know who he is.
Put your hands up, Angela. It's good to see you too, Matthew. Won't you have a glass of whiskey with me for old time's sake? You have some gall bringing up the old times. What are you doing here? How did you break out of jail? Sombra broke me out, of course. They said they had plans for me. But all I cared about was seeing my girls again. Are they here? No, they aren't. And if you came here hoping to butt back into Lars's lives, and if you came here hoping to butt back into Lars's lives, think again. Just tell us, what part did you play in the president's kidnapping and Natasha's murder? No part at all. Sombra just told me to be on standby. I knew the risks when I came here, Matthew. I knew you'd arrest me. Frankly, if I can't see my family, I don't care what happens to me. Stop this emotional manipulation. It won't work. We're still locking you up, and we'll be keeping a close eye on you. Jack, Matthew, is it true? Is Angela back? Yes, she walked right in. Didn't even try to hide. I can't believe this. Bro, are you gonna be okay? I'm not about to do anything stupid out of despair, if that's what you're asking. Angela's betrayal broke my heart, but I've walked a long road since then. I'm not the same person, and I know she never was the person I believed her to be. Honestly, though, I'd rather not see her. If you don't mind, Matthew, I'm just going to go out, clear my head for a little while. Of course, bro. You've got to take care of yourself. Matthew, if Angela messes with Lars's head again, I don't know what I'll do. So we are seeing Angela again. But for now, Angela is clear. We'll find out about who's the real killer after I get some more stars. So this is Matthew. See you again. Well, although only 20 minutes have passed, I'm going to speed this up. Kind of lied on that one. But you know what? I'm still under happy hour, so the long run won't matter. Mes amis, the New York Cloisters are fascinating despite all the blood. So much history in one place. Dupont, what the heck? You went sightseeing on our crime scene? En fait, I visited the Cloisters looking for a secret passage or a hidden room where the president might be kept, but I found nothing. He's not there. I pray he isn't dead. Only by rescuing him can we prove our colleague innocent of his kidnapping and prevent war between the US and Russia. On that note, what did the newspaper articles say about the president? A sad story. The article talked about a recent U.S. airstrike on the town of Arazir. Apparently, the president ordered the strike despite his general's advice. and many civilians died, including the family of UN High Commissioner Leila Malak. What? The president is responsible for the deaths of Leila Malak's family? That's one heck of a reason to want revenge. And we can't forget that Miss Malak is the one who arranged the meeting between Natasha and the president. She definitely owes us answers.
Stand back, the boats of you. I'm ready with my decision.
In fact, give me a moment, folks. Okay, had to restart my browser in case I were to get a star or some coins. Miss Malak, our condolences for what happened to your family due to the president's orders, but you should have mentioned this to us earlier. So you found out about the airstrike, Marshal Matthew. I hoped you wouldn't. It's irrelevant to your investigation. With all due respect, this gives you a motive to want the president gone. Whatever you assume, my grief is my own, Marshal Matthew. I won't account to you for my nightmares or for the sleeping pills I'm taking to cope. UN records will show you how I reacted to the airstrike. I brought it up to be discussed at the General Assembly as per procedure. Of course, the bureaucratic processes inherent in our organization make it difficult to resolve such crises quickly. Difficult enough that you take revenge into your own hands? No, Marshal Matthew, I don't believe in private vengeance. I work for peace. And we work to learn the truth behind the president's kidnapping, so you'd better not be lying to us, Miss Malak.
Convicted of the crime. Winston was the main witness against him. He testified against his own client. 2 murders come out of the Panworld case, and Winston has a...
Matthew, I want to believe that the president's still alive, but El Rey's plan was to kill him, so the more time passes, the slimmer the hope. I know some people are saying that the country's better off without him, after all the controversial decisions he's made. But only finding him will stop the conflict between the US and Russia from escalating. And only by finding him can we prove Marina's innocence. We know Marina's mom took the president to the Cloisters after she kidnapped him. At the Cloisters, her accomplice killed her, and then took the president somewhere else. If we knew who her killer is, we know where the president is right now. Someone who knows more than he's telling is Baxter. He was at the Cloisters, so he must be involved. But without Marina here, we can't make him talk. And don't get me started on Angela, who just turned up at the bureau. I don't get her, Matthew. It's like she wanted to get arrested. Huh? Wait, did you hear that? Did someone just shout at us to run?
That's it. You're both in contempt. $1,000 each. And you open your mouth, I'm going to double it. Mr. The law here is clear.
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Winston, your application for gag order is granted.
Chapter 3 will come soon. Alright folks, we've returned. It's time to start Chapter 3 of The Darkest Hour. Matthew, I want to believe that the president's still alive, but El Rey's plan was to kill him, so the more time passes, the slimmer the hope. The U.S. blames Russia for the kidnapping, and only finding the president will stop the conflict from escalating. And finding him is our only way to prove Marina's innocence. We know Marina's mom kidnapped the president and was later killed by her accomplice. If we knew who her killer is, we know where the president is right now. Baxter must be involved in the abduction, but he's either faking a fit or actually having one. And without Marina, we can't make him talk. And don't get me started on Angela, who just turned up at the bureau. Run. I don't get her, Matthew. It's like she wanted to get arrested. Wait, did you hear that? Did someone just shout at us to run? Oh my God. Matthew, what was that? It came from the break room. We need to go find out what it was, but be on your guard.
Could you excuse us? You getting enough sleep, Mike? Reaming out police
Oh my God.
Screeching at opposing counsel.
Matthew, there was a bomb, but I've disarmed it. We have to get you to the hospital. Nah, I'm totally fine.
Murder case dismissed with prejudice?
Oh boy. Jonah?
Tell me what you need, Mike. Day off, letter.
Matthew, I heard the blast and what's going on?
Can't have
We'll explain at the hospital. Come on. Help Matthew and me get Jonah there.
I got the message. Thanks.
Jonah, what happened?
I'll be okay.
Matthew, somebody set us up. The bomb was in the break room's trash can.
System gone haywire.
I tried to disarm it, but only managed to lessen the explosion. That thing could have blown up the entire bureau. It sure blew you up. You almost died.
3 murders.
It's literally my job, keeping you all safe from bombs and stuff.
Chamber.
You know, Jonah, all this time I kind of mistrusted you. But you really care about the bureau, don't you? I guess I mean to say thank you. Figured that it'd take a literal bomb for you two to make peace at last. But what I really want to know is who tried to blow us all up. Well, Matthew's right. We happened to see a Sombra agent in the break room earlier on. This must be why Angela came to the bureau despite knowing we'd arrest her. Matthew, I'll stay here and make sure Jonah's okay, but Angela owes us answers. And if someone can make Angela talk, it's you, Matthew. Let's go.
30 to 70% throughout the store. And get an extra 20% off with your Macy's card or Wild Savings Pass.
Demand answers from Angela about the bomb. Matthew, what a disappointing surprise. Sombra won't be pleased you're still alive. So it was you. After everything you've done, I still didn't think you'd go that far. Your bomb could have killed everyone in this office.
Now that Karen's taking us,
I know. That's why I planted it. Matthew, we're at war. Sacrifices have to be made. You certainly didn't hesitate to sacrifice me back in Africa.
Kids, discomfort, osteobiflex.
Sacrifice you? We arrested you for murder. You turned your back on me. You're the reason why I can't see my girls, why Lars is lost to me, why I can only sleep if I pop pills. Sombra taught us during combat training that you need to adapt to your circumstances fast. I adapted. You're my enemy now. Jack, is everyone okay? I just heard... It's alright, Lars. I made sure you and the girls were safe. I'll always make sure you're safe. You don't have to worry. I don't have to... Angela, do you even hear yourself? You're the one who will worry when Matthew thwarts Sombra's schemes. Matthew, the thought of all of you, of Jack dying at Angela's hands. Breathe, bro. It's okay. Thanks to Jonah, we're all fine. Angela's locked up. She can't harm us now. So we thought the first time we locked her up, and she's still sure that Sombra's plans will succeed? Matthew's right. If Sombra wants to kill us, it means we're doing something right. We can still stop them, still rescue the president. We're living on borrowed time, but we'll make the most of it. Matthew, let's leave no stone unturned at the scene of the kidnapping.
If left untreated, MC can cause liver damage, even liver cancer. But there's important information for us. The CDC recommends all baby boomers get tested
How long?
for MC. All it takes is a simple one-time blood test.
19:35 to go for the unlimited energy happy hour.
Be sure to ask your doctor to get tested for MC. For us, it's time to get tested. It's the only way to know for sure.
How do you become America's
Okay, I think I see the clues.
families for 70 years?
Love letters,
Earn the trust of 32 NFL teams.
torn paper,
Be there for America's toughest. And help when help is needed. America's #1 isn't a status earned overnight. It's earned in every wash.
there we go.
And we earn every day. Todd, America's #1 detergent.
I hope that this means that Angela and Lars will reconvene.
Why get your eyes checked the old-fashioned way? When LensCrafters can digitally map them for you. Introducing Clarify.
Maybe ask and ye shall receive is really being used here.
With over a
Judging by the sticker, this is the president's laptop. We need to unlock it. And what are these letters doing here? The writing on the envelopes is so old it's faded, but a dusting will clear it up. And we better put that torn paper back together. Matthew, it's a tight spot. Marina's in jail. Jonah's in the hospital. The president's missing. But I know we can still win.
You get a $10 gift card? I want you to have the gift card.
Oh, but would you spend $75
Oh well,
on?
I guess it doesn't work anyway.
Whoa. All those cute little cat videos were very misleading.
Get your coupon, spend $75.
But this one I will not speed up, definitely.
Card to use December.
Because I'm not going to have enough time.
Richard wanted to be buried next to his parents. They both died together at like 33. Richard didn't kill that
There we go.
He never hurt anybody in his whole life.
Matthew, this document says that the vice president denied a request for extra protection for the president despite warnings of an attack.
They said you have to
The
trust
warning came from the Canadians, which makes sense given that we learned of El Rey's plan back in Montreal.
Explain the cigarette at the judge's house.
But the vice president didn't listen. Maybe she wasn't sorry to see the president kidnapped. She'd better come clean.
I made Victor quit smoking when Justin was born, but he still do it sometimes. Outside.
About refusing the president's protection?
Sometimes he smoked at Winston's office.
Yeah, I get upset and
Ma'am, when we last talked, you failed to mention you refused to increase the president's security despite warnings of a probable attack. So you found out about my greatest mistake. Marshal Matthew, it's true. I denied the request to put security on higher alert. I made the wrong call. And now President Hewitt's gone. I'll be washing down my sleeping pills with whiskey tonight if I hope to get any rest.
every year
So you admit this situation is partly your fault, and you still won't release our colleague. I can't release a suspected Russian agent. I had to atone for my mistake. If those Russians kill President Hewitt, it'll be on my conscience.
Couldn't even say who framed
We've already told you, ma'am, the Russians didn't have anything to do with the kidnapping, and we hope for your sake that neither did you.
You're so well versed in the trial transcript that you also. Winston categorically denied that he ever let anyone smoke in his office.
Mr. Tyler, you know what we're saying.
You know what? I'm going to get the rest of the stars first, and then I'll take care of the rest of this. So for now, hold tight.
Table downstairs.
Okay. Love letters now. I got all the stars. Now to 19, now 18.
I kept ringing the bell and then I see this stuff seeping under the door. Oh my god, I got blood on my sneakers.
My dear Olivia Wellen, Hector Montoya.
I was wheeling my car towards the
Matthew, these love letters are addressed to Olivia Wellen. That's the First Lady's maiden name. And look who sent these to her. Hector Montoya. Wait, El Rey sent love letters to the president's wife? The letters look old. Has the First Lady been in league with El Rey all along? We knew she cheated on the president, but this is something else. Matthew, we're bringing Olivia in.
No sign of forced entry. Must have cut her after she opened the door.
It's too bad.
That wound is deep. Hell of a
Got the letters?
The witness saw me leaving the house with a briefcase left by the...
Mrs. Hewitt, we know about your affair with El Rey. We've got your letters. El Rey? I have no idea who you mean. Those letters were from Hector, my old flame. We dated long before my marriage. Your Hector's now in jail for leading a criminal organization. He's behind your husband's kidnapping. He's... what? Marshal Matthew, please believe me. I had no idea about any of this. It's incredible that Hector became such a man. Hector's been this man for a long time, so don't expect us to believe you didn't know. Back when I knew him, he just seemed charming, intelligent. He lived in South America, so we didn't see each other often. I was at a military academy and desperate for romance, and he called me his queen. He's the one who taught me to like whiskey. He did sometimes talk strangely about some grandiose ideas wanting to change the world, but I didn't really listen. Well, ma'am, if you helped Hector make his ideas a reality, you'll find yourself reunited with him in prison. She's in the clear for now. She doesn't take sleeping pills. Okay, laptop now. I believe this will be a 9-hour wait.
Precious little oranges, destined for greatness, to create the most
DEF,
delicious orange
CON,
simply orange. Apparently,
ONE.
doesn't fall far from the tree.
Wow. Unsurprisingly, the president's laptop is encrypted to the teeth. Let's get it to Elliot, quick!
Plus more vitamin C and oranges. Why not feel this good every day? Emerge and see. Do they trust you?
I'm very good at pretending.
Yep, 9 hours.
Good.
Get the results and I come home tomorrow. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then.
Serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding.
Alright folks, we've returned. Let's get the results of the laptop. Hey, so have you decrypted the president's laptop? The president's what? I'm busy. I've been trying to get into the Sombra file from the hard drive we found in the satellite. You've been on that file for days. Have you even noticed Marina's been arrested and Jonas saved us from a bomb? Yes, Jack, I noticed. But I can't do anything to help them, so I'm focusing on what I can change, alright? Not that it's easy to concentrate with Baxter wailing in his cell. On the upside, I can now tell you he likes whiskey. He keeps asking for some. Thanks for the heads up, but back to the president's laptop. Did you manage to check it out? Sure, and now I can tell you all about his gaming scores. It's his private computer. There's hardly anything on it. But in the president's emails, there was a draft he never sent, in which he ranted angrily about a journalist called Rick Murray.
There are some that say life is about the finish line.
Apparently, the president wished he could stop Murray from writing ever again. He sounded furious. From what Carmen said, Rick didn't seem to like the president either, but he told us nothing to explain this. Let's question him again.
A journal.
Now Baxter Frazier's in the running.
This very moment. This one's to you.
Still troubles.
Discover how simple luxury can be.
About his feud with the president. Rick, care to explain why the president of the United States would be furious with you? What happened between you two? He was angry, huh? Good, so my articles are getting to him. Knowing this might soothe me to sleep without pills for once. Hewitt was unfit to be president, and I wanted the whole world to know it. Hewitt's policies wrecked this country. He built a wall between us and Mexico, took the U.S. out of the unified nations, but now he's getting his just desserts. I hope you never find him, Marshal Matthew. What's wrong with you? Hewitt may not be the best president, but his kidnapping puts the country on the brink of disaster. His administration was a disaster already. Anyone would be a better leader than Hewitt, get it? Anyone. I sincerely hope you didn't help kidnap the president out of this belief, or you'll be protesting his policies in prison.
Semi-finalists, but what about Jack and Sabrina for those wild card spots? Let's find out now. Natural Wonders is the category here.
Okay. Hey, tough guy, we figured we'd check on you. How are you feeling? I'm fine, Matthew. It's Marina I'm worried about. The feds will keep her until we can prove who really kidnapped the president. We're getting there. For one, we now know the First Lady used to date El Rey. She... what? I know, it's like the world's gone mad. It really has. Matthew, the U.S. has just declared war on Russia. What? No! The U.S. blames Russia for the president's kidnapping and diplomatic talks have broken down. The U.S. Army's mobilizing. Moment again. Matthew, missiles are about to start flying. You need to find the president before World War III erupts. Are you kidding? Matthew, this is a nightmare. Maybe we can still stop this. We need to search the Cloisters again. No time to lose. The fate of the world is riding on this.
Good evening, I'm Paula Akana. President-elect Donald Trump and President Barack Obama met in the Oval Office today to talk about the presidential transition ahead of Trump's inauguration on January 20th.
We now are going to want to do everything we can to help you succeed. Because if you succeed, then the country succeeds.
I very much look forward to dealing with the president in the future, including the council.
Personally, I don't believe a word Trump says. Anyway, back to this. Let's see
Senate
here.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Speaker Paul Ryan. Trump says his top 3 priorities are health care, big league jobs, and immigration.
Sign, soda can, walking stick, chest, ghost.
Less than 48 hours since Donald Trump was announced president.
The heck's that candlestick?
That many local immigrants are already fearing.
There we go. Oh, that's covered in blood.
Hi Claire, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to write to you and ask, now that Trump is president, are we doing? I'm worried sick about what will happen. So I thought I would
Building a wall along the Mexico border and deporting undocumented immigrants with criminal backgrounds out of the U.S. are just some of planned actions that Donald Trump has listed.
Matthew, I still can't believe the U.S. has declared war on Russia. We have to stop this. You're right. Our best shot at that is finding the president. And to do that, we need to learn who killed Natasha. Maybe searching that chest will give us a clue. Grace mentioned Natasha was hit over the head with something. That bloody candlestick could be it. There are fibers stuck on it. Let's grab them. Matthew, we're racing against time. We're the only ones who can still prevent World War III.
People, I think, were a little bit more calm. And after Tuesday night, that calm has been.
Trump has promised to immediately terminate DACA once he takes office.
Okay. Oh, I think I see something.
Simply because they want to protect their clients' information from the government. This says nationwide.
Natasha's necklace. Matthew, you're right. I recognize the necklace you found in that chest. Natasha always wore it. For this necklace to end up here, Natasha must have lost it during the fight with her killer. We need to get it to Lars immediately.
As KITV's Brenton Awa explains, part of that reason could be your name.
What's in a name? A lot more than a few
Candlestick.
When it comes to the election, your name could be connected to your wait time. If you found yourself stuck in line at the polls, think about which line you're in by alpha break. Chances are your last name falls between the letters A through M. If you didn't have to wait, it's possible you picked a good time to show up, or
we are.
Your last name falls between the letters A through Z. The reason, according to National Voting,
Let's get the blood-soaked fibers from the candlestick to Lars, Matthew. There's not a moment to lose.
Just 37% begin with a letter between N to Z. To find out if those numbers apply in Hawaii,
9 hours. When these two are done, we'll put a final killer in the World Edition behind bars. For now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright folks, we're back. Let's get the results of Natasha's necklace and put a killer behind bars. I miss you too, girls. I'll see you very soon, I promise. Be safe, Daddy. Sorry, Matthew, I just had to see my girls. They were so scared when they heard about the war. Of course, dude. I hope they'll be alright. I know you're pressed for time, Matthew, so I'll get straight to the point. I found DNA on Natasha's necklace, which wasn't hers. So that DNA must be our killer's. Yes, and I can tell you her killer is a woman. Matthew, that woman didn't just kill Natasha. She's also holding the president captive, and she's about to face her reckoning. I don't know. Angela's looking good again.
Hey, we're looking for Alicia.
Lucy got beat up home, sir.
I can't seem to get any coins up here. I don't know why.
6 gunshots, 4 stabbings.
Bloody fibers. Matthew, I thought Angela trying to kill us would be the worst thing happening today, but now World War III is about to start. A part of me is glad the girls aren't here for all of this, but with the war, they aren't safe anywhere. Just one foot in front of the other, bro. We'll get through this. And for that, we need you. What have you got on the fibers from that candlestick? The blood on the fibers was Natasha's. So the killer did use the candlestick to hit her over the head. And some of the killer's clothing fibers got stuck on the impromptu weapon. I cleaned them of blood, and I can tell you the fibers are white. Which means our killer wears white. Matthew, now we're one step closer to stopping World War III. Matthew, we've raced against time to find the president and prevent World War III, and now we're at the finish line. It's time to arrest the Sombra agent who killed Natasha and has the president captive.
I was here on that.
It is not Angela. Thank goodness.
My sister.
You didn't know when she was hurt.
You were worried about a drug dealer.
So, Nick, we asked the nurses if you were around Saturday night. They're going to say yes, right?
It's not Olivia Hewitt. It is not Baxter Frazier. It is not Leela Malak. It is not Rick Murray. It is Sarah Bennett.
They could have been in two places at the same time Saturday night.
Come on, Nikki. Let's sit with
Sarah Bennett, you're under arrest for kidnapping the president and killing your accomplice, Natasha Romanova. What? Marshal Matthew, have you gone mad? What's mad is a U.S. vice president working for Sombra who knew their reach extended this far. How dare you accuse me? Agents, take them away. Yes, ma'am. Now wait a second. Marshal Matthew, leave now or surrender your weapon. Let us through. The vice president's getting away by the Bureau's authority. Your authority holds no weight here. Stand down or submit to your arrest. Matthew, what do we do? All right, we're standing down. Let us go. Matthew, what should we do? The vice president's escaped, and we don't know where she or the president are. Now she knows we're onto her. It's only a matter of time until she kills the president, and then there'll be no stopping World War III. Marshal Matthew, I need to talk to you. Baxter, how did you get out of your cell? I broke the door. It doesn't matter. Matthew, I know where the president is. So you admit you were involved in the kidnapping? Not willingly. The vice president, she used my Sombra programming against me. She made me help her kidnap him. Why didn't you tell us earlier? We could have saved the president already, prevented the U.S. from declaring war. My thoughts, they were all scrambled. I hadn't had Sombra control my brain in a long time, but I remember now. Matthew, the president is in the catacombs. That's where the vice president's heading. The New York catacombs are a maze. We'll never find them in here. We'll never find them in there. Matthew, let me be your guide. I know these catacombs like the back of my hand. Dupont, you're about the last person I'd take into the field. It's not like you got a choice. I'll fall back at any hints of danger. You need me, Matthew. I really don't like this. But I agree, we don't have a choice. Alright, Matthew, let's go rescue the president. We won't let Sombra win. Dupont, are you sure you know where you're going? Yes, there must be a cavern just there to the left. Matthew, right this way. Oh my. Don't come a step closer, Marshal Matthew. Miss Bennett, the game's over. Killing the president won't help you. We know everything. Whatever you know, no one will believe you. We know you're a Sombra agent and Natasha Romanova's accomplice in the kidnapping. We have proof you subdued Natasha with hand-to-hand combat techniques you learned in the military. And then slit her throat with the president's letter opener. We found residue from your sleeping pills on it. Unless you somehow got a witness, this is worth nothing. Baxter told us everything. We know how you made him help you. So that's what it is. That half-wit blabbed. His brainwashing was always faulty, but I didn't expect it to slip again so soon. Now you have to stop this madness. Let the president go and... Let him go? I don't think so. He's only still alive because El Rey wanted to kill him personally, but I might end him here and now. Just like you should have all died in an explosion at your headquarters, but I guess you got lucky, or my agent got soft. No matter, you'll die now, in the name of Sombra. Oh my. Jack! Matthew, we need to stop the bleeding. No, don't waste time on me, Matthew. Get her. I'll live.
Insulin is not insulin. It helps activate.
Matthew, I'll help you. We'll bring her down.
His own insulin.
No, you won't. And Marshal Matthew, you're next.
I'll take it once a week.
No.
It's 24/7. It comes
Oh,
in an
no.
easy-to-use pen. And it may even lose a little weight.
Trulicity is a once-weekly injectable prescription medicine to improve blood sugar in adults with type 2
Dupont!
diabetes when used with diet and exercise.
You shouldn't have got in my way, old man.
It should not be the first medicine to
And you shouldn't have done that.
people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not take Trulicity if you or a family member has had medullary thyroid
Got her.
cancer, if you've had multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you are allergic to
My
Trulicity.
goodness.
Stop Trulicity and call your doctor.
Dupont, are you... Matthew, he needs help. I thank you, Marshal Matthew. You saved me. But I don't understand. Why did Sarah do all this? You're safe now, Mr. President. That's what matters. We'll explain later. We have to get our colleague to the hospital.
Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, decreased appetite, and indigestion. Some side effects can lead to dehydration, which may...
Matthew, I just heard from Jack. He's heading back there, but Dupont's still in surgery. Matthew, the feds let me go. They said the president was safe. Honey Blossom, are you alright? I could ask you the same thing. What happened? Just a bomb. Don't worry about it. It can't keep me away from you. Aw, yeah. If I may break the moment, Matthew, I've had a long chat with the president about Sombra. Now he knows who his true enemies are. He and the Russian president are on the phone right now, talking peace. So at least some good news, some good has come out of this. Jack! Oh, thank God you're alive. I heard you and Dupont were both shot, and I feared the worst.
If you ask around, pretty soon you'll learn there are auto insurance customers and then there are Amiga customers.
You have to stop scaring me like this. I'm fine, but the bullet just grazed me. Dupont has it much worse. I saw him on the way to the surgery. It didn't look good. Yes, that wound at his age, I'm not really sure he'll make it, Matthew. I can't believe it. We thwarted Sombra's plans, but Dupont might not live to celebrate this victory. Before we start talking victory, we still have some loose ends to tie up. Matthew, let's make sure Sombra never recovers from this blow. Taking a look at the other ones. Angela Douglas, no white on. Olivia Hewitt, cleared early. Baxter Frazier, not a woman. Leela Malak, cleared from the start. Rick Murray, cleared from the start. It was Sarah Bennett. I'll see you guys for Edge of Darkness 8-8. Alright folks, we've returned. Let's start Edge of Darkness 8-8. Matthew, you did it! Not only did you find the president, you also prevented World War III. But at what cost? Dupont's still in surgery after the vice president shot him. His wound really didn't look good. Thwarting Sombra's plans was never going to be easy, but I wasn't prepared for this. And there's still work to do. We've celebrated Sombra's defeat prematurely once. We won't make that mistake again. We must ensure Sombra never recovers from this blow. It's clear we must root out all Sombra agents out there. Sure, but how? It's not like El Rey will tell us anything. No, but Baxter might. He's already helped us find the president. Maybe he knows something else. About that, Matthew, I just went to check on Baxter to offer him my help, and he wasn't in his cell. What? Then where is he? According to my tracker, he's at Times Square. For God's sake, Elliot, you couldn't have said something earlier? It's alright, Matthew. I'll come with you to Times Square to find Baxter. I'm sure we'll be able to get him to talk. Matthew, wait! We need to get to the hospital. It's bad news. The surgeons extracted the bullet from Dupont's chest, but the tissue damage is too severe and his body isn't coping. What? What are you saying? Matthew Dupont only has a few hours left to live. Dupont's dying? No! No, damn it! Tell me there's still something we can do! Bro, the only way Dupont could survive is if he's hooked to machines for the rest of his life. But he's made it clear he doesn't want that. So we're supposed to just let him die? Matthew, Dupont's awake now. There's no telling for how long, and he's asking to talk to you. You should go see him, Matthew. Times Square can wait. Don't need to tell me twice, Marina. Matthew, I don't have much time left, but I'm glad to see you before I go. Don't talk like that, Dupont. You're going to be fine. No, mes amis, I can feel it. I'm not too long for this world. Dupont, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. I should have protected you. No, Jack. The only person to blame is the vice president, who shot at us both and nearly killed Matthew, too. Yes, but if I'd only... Jack, stop. I chose to go into danger with you. I chose to protect my friends. I wouldn't change it for anything. And not everyone can have such an adventure before they leave this world. We saved the president together. Is President Hewitt even worth this? He's made so many questionable decisions during this term, and now he lives, and you... I'm far less important than the president, Matthew. By rescuing him, we stopped World War III. I'm glad to die for such a cause. You're a really good guy, Dupont, you know that? I wish I could do something for you. You're doing it, Matthew. I know I often bore people, but I appreciate you listening to me now. I'd like to tell you about an object which... Oh no, where's my notebook? Mon Dieu, I must have dropped it at the Cloisters. Dupont, please calm down. This excitement isn't good for you. Whatever that notebook is, we'll find it for you, alright? Matthew will search the Cloisters top to bottom if needed. Thank you so much, Matthew. Just don't deplete your energy on my account. God, I hate people. God, I hate seeing bad things happen to good people.
Great. So according to you two, we now have no such...
Just for the heck of it. I don't really like to brag, but sometimes I just do like to show off the talent that I have for this game. Basically just at the crime scenes. But will I do any more cases in Elite mode? I definitely will. Notebook. Padlock, bat, horseshoe, lion. That's for you, Dupont. Definitely not increasing my high score, but that's fine. Matthew, I still can't believe Dupont is dying, but at least you can do this last thing for him. Could this notebook be Dupont's? It looks old. I hope he can unlock it. We need to get back to Dupont as soon as possible. EGD, ELW, ONK. I'm not really sure if that's really a foreign saying. Those notes are so old, the writing's completely faded away in some places. Maybe we can retrieve it before we give the notebook back to Dupont. Dupont always seeks knowledge. Matthew, the writing under that drawing says, a Dupont always seeks knowledge. Well, Dupont also seeks this notebook, so let's bring it back to him, quick.
I had a patrol Richard took the banks fake credit cards. How do they clean their money? The gangsters. They take over legitimate businesses. You got it.
Thank you so much for finding my notebook, Matthew. It belonged to my ancestor, Mon Arrière-Grand-Père. I'm rarely parted from it. I never knew the man, but I delighted in the tales of his adventure. I'm sure you'd enjoy them too, Matthew. He worked with someone very like you. Now that my time on Earth is drawing to a close, I wanted to entrust the notebook to you. Well, I've never been a history buff, but this is one old book I wouldn't mind reading. Very generous of you, my young friend. And Matthew, I'd also like to transfer you my life savings. I won't need them now. Don't talk like that, Dupont. You might still... No, Jack. I know this is a wound from which I won't recover. But my heart is easy as I prepare to leave this world, and I'm grateful for it. I'll require a little time to myself to get my affairs in order. But I hope you'll come see me again soon, Matthew, and don't forget my gifts. These things never get any easier. Let's try it again. I'm only doing this because I have the mountain goat out. I can see him. Baxter Frazier. Card, backpack, arrow, bank. Skate boomerang, police hat cherries, and umbrella.
Juries aren't stupid. Sean Petrovich was angry. He was jealous. He bridled at Jarman's abuse. He kills him.
So you found me, Marshal Matthew. Of course you did. I don't even know why I ran. It's understandable that you're confused, Baxter, but you escaped custody, so we need to bring you back in, and you'll have to answer a few questions. Questions? I have questions? Like who's going to use me next? How can I trust myself with this Sombra programming inside me? Whatever Sombra's done to me, I'll live with it forever. I'll never be free. Baxter, I've worked with Sombra's brainwash recruits before. I helped them, and I'm sure I can help you. I guess I got nothing to lose. I'll come. Matthew, I'll have to run a few tests, but I'll let you know when Baxter's ready to answer some questions. Six hours. I'll see you guys when that's done. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright folks, we've returned. Let's get the results of Baxter's brain scan. Matthew, Baxter and I made great headway on undoing Sombra's brainwashing once and for all. It feels like there's only one of me in my brain now, like I can hear myself think. It'll take time for you to fully heal. I'll vouch in court that you weren't yourself, but you'll need to keep seeing a professional regularly. I get that, and I know I can't undo the damage I helped Sombra wreak, Marshal Matthew, but I hope I can do some good from now on. Maybe I can teach people how to protect themselves, become a martial arts instructor. I want to help, you know. Yes, and speaking of that, countless Sombra agents are still out there. Can you help us find them? I'm really sorry, Marshal Matthew, but until now, I thought the agents you busted back in Oceania were it. Only the higher-ups would know how many of us were out there and where everyone was stationed. Matthew, I hate to bring it up, but Angela must be pretty high up in the hierarchy to know as much as she does about Sombra. And children, young recruits among them, are something she's consistently cared about. Maybe she'd help us. Sorry for butting in, but I heard you mention Angela, Matthew. Matthew, if you're going to talk to her, I'd like to come with you. There are still things I need to say. Have you come to gloat about your victory, Matthew? We're not in the mood for gloating. Dupont's dying. Is he? Well, he's old anyway. He wouldn't be able to contribute to the Bureau for much longer. Are you serious? I can't believe you'd ever say something like that. I don't recognize you, Angela. Back when we arrested you, you showed some compassion, helped us track down some of Sombra's recruits. Children are different, Lars. I'd hope you rescue more of them, even today, if I knew where to find them. So you don't know where the remaining Sombra agents are? No, why would I? The only ones who could identify all Sombra agents are El Rey and the Vice President, who's now dead. Matthew, El Rey won't tell us anything, but maybe we need to search through the Vice President's belongings to find something. Let's go. Lars, wait! Won't you let me see our girls at last? You think? After everything you've done, I'll let our daughters near you? Angela, I've done a lot of thinking since we parted. I went through some really bad times, and I missed you every day, for so long. I dreamed that we'd meet again, and you'd repent all your Sombra ways, and tell me you still loved me. I do still love you, Lars. And a part of me will always love the woman I thought you were. But I've accepted that it was all a lie. So then, this is goodbye? Yes, it is. Goodbye, Angela. I guess this couldn't have ended any other way. Matthew, I really don't feel like investigating anything right now, though we need to check the Vice President's belongings on Air Force One. I'm sure Carmen can come with you to the plane. Personally, I need to go clear my head a little. I thought Lars would really be a little bit compassionate. I really did, really.
There was no difference between women and men. A girl could fish, dive, catch waves just as good as any man. If not, I've seen meet a lot of men actually in heats.
Briefcase.
Yeah, it's
glove. Statue.
We like big waves here. We call this called the big wave.
Soda can, wheelchair, lighter. Here we go. Okay. Matthew, Lars looked upset after talking to Angela, but I think he'll be okay. In a way, he probably needed this closure. But for now, we need to focus on rooting out the other Sombra agents. Going by the tag on this briefcase, it was the Vice President's. Let's search it. I sure would have liked to see Angela and Lars back together, though.
Students in Michigan chanting, "Build the wall." Then, of course, after Trump's victory.
Well, Donald Trump didn't mention the wall in his victory speech, but it's an issue he repeatedly touted.
7. Matthew, the Vice President seemed to be El Rey's right hand. There must be crucial Sombra data on the USB key from her briefcase. Let's get it to Elliot. How long is this one? 6 hours also. For now, this is Matthew. See y'all then.
The electric bill.
Alright folks, we've returned. Let's get the results of the USB key from Elliot. Matthew, do you remember the super encrypted file from Sombra's hard drive that we got off the satellite back in Canada? Sure, you've been trying to hack into that thing day and night since then. Yes, and then you walked in with the Vice President's USB key. Among the files on it, there was a seemingly meaningless number sequence, which turned out to be the decryption key for that Sombra file. So what was on it? Tell me it was something good. The best. Matthew, you won't believe it. It's El Rey's personal database, the list of all the Sombra agents out there. What? That's exactly what we hope to find. This means you can dismantle Sombra's network. And we won't have to do it alone. We can hand that list to law enforcement authorities around the world, and Sombra will crumble. This is it, Matthew. This is the end of the line. Sombra will never be able to rear its ugly head again. I like to see El Rey gloat now. In fact, I agree, Matthew. Let's give him the good news in person. Yes, let's. It'll be something to see El Rey very, very upset. So how does it feel to be king of nothing, El Rey? Because Sombra's done. Don't get ahead of yourself, Marshal Matthew. You thwarted our plan in the U.S., but Sombra lives on. I admit I'm displeased you killed my lieutenant. She was a faithful servant to Sombra. I've known her since her early days as a CIA agent. And I bet that, as she climbed the ranks, she proves very useful for turning U.S. intelligence services away from any rumors of Sombra. And if not for your meddling, she'd be running the country on my behalf right now. We'd use the U.S. military might to usher in a new era. But never mind, we're not done yet. I still got agents out there doing my work. The agents whose names you saw on the satellite, we know all about them, and so do law enforcement authorities around the world. What? How did you do that? You weak, worthless creatures! How dare you foil my plans? I'm the strong one. I'm the one who wins. Nope, you're the one who fails, because Marshal Matthew destroyed Sombra. You fools! Sombra would have remade the world. You destroyed everything I've worked for. Yep, that we did, and now I have fun rotting behind bars forever. And here, have this souvenir to remember us by. I've got more where this came from, Matthew. Do you want one too? Oh yeah. Matthew, is it true? You finished Sombra for good? Yep. We've got the list of all of the Sombra agents, and none of them are getting away from the law now. Sombra's over. You should have seen El Rey's face. His helpless fury was beautiful. I wish this hadn't come at such a cost. I can't believe Dupont is on his deathbed. This is hard on us all, Matthew, but Dupont wants us to remember what we did all of this for. Matthew, you need to go dress up. We were just invited as guests of honor to a special UN assembly. Well, that sounds important. I wish Dupont could come too. Let's all meet up at the UN, Matthew.
That's so interesting, honey, because I'm going to share a photo of my Eggo waffle when it pops up.
Well, that's a glittering crowd. So many dignitaries and politicians. Mom, do I have to be here? My suit itches. Shh, Sanjay, it's starting. Ladies and gentlemen, today has been a harrowing day for the international community at large and the United States in particular. We barely managed to avert disaster, and this is a stark reminder of how easily peace can be shattered. You'll be glad to know that despite the U.S.'s recent decision to leave the UN, we've now agreed to consolidate our relationship instead of breaking it. Yeah, thanks for taking us back, guys. I should never have trusted that traitor, my vice president. She'd been working to undermine the country all along. Apart from the UN exit thing, she told me a wall with Mexico would help U.S. foreign relations. Well, it didn't. We'll be tearing that wall down. Of course, I can't only blame my advisors. I should have extradited better judgment. From now on, I'll listen to better people. On this historic day, we like to honor the work of the Bureau, and particularly Marshal Matthew, who saved the world from disaster. Thanks to them, we can all leave here with new hopes. The world will stand united. We can do good, and we can do it together. Marshal Matthew, please accept the highest honor we can confer, the UN Peace Prize. Wow, Matthew, this is amazing, and you totally deserve it. We need to show this to Dupont. Let's go see him at the hospital. Okay. Let's show the award to him. So, tell me all about this UN assembly, Matthew. All I can say is I hope Dupont wasn't married. I wish you could have been there, Dupont. Everyone congratulated the Bureau so much, and we got this award. Nobody actually mentioned Sombra outright, but maybe it's best if they stay forgotten in the shadows, where they belong. I'm so proud to have been part of this journey with you. Dupont, would you like some water? Anything? No, your company is enough. I can feel it approaching. I know you'll go on to achieve great things. Don't forget my notebook. We won't forget it, Dupont. Don't worry. Are you? I'm fine, Matthew. I only feel a little tired now. I'm just going to close my eyes.
It's her.
Dupont.
Greg Sullivan said Emily slept over on a school night? Not a chance.
But Emily told her father.
These never get any easier.
She's lying. Something happened to her? Mrs. Kent, Emily was murdered last night. My God, how awful.
We're here today to pay our respects to Armand Dupont. He was a great asset to the Bureau, knowledgeable, intelligent, and very brave. He gave his life for us, for our cause, and we'll always be grateful to him.
Recognize that one? Doesn't even look familiar. I'm sorry, I'm terribly late. I wish I could.
Matthew, I don't get why he had to die. He was nice. He didn't do anything wrong. I know, kiddo, but at least Dupont was at peace at the end. This should actually be Carmen. To think that he'll never again rant about some ancient book or obscure folklore. I often made fun of him, but he was a really smart guy. He was always excited about knowledge. I never seemed to have time for him, and he took that bullet protecting us. At least you were with him in the end, Matthew. That's all he ever wanted. Our kindness and attention.
These are Detectives Benson and Stabler.
Andrea, when's the last time you saw Emily? Yesterday. School. You know why she told her
To Dupont, Matthew. His personal heaven would be a giant library, so I hope that's where he is right now.
Do any of you girls
To Dupont.
recognize this number? It's the number Emily's dad called last night.
Adieu, Dupont. We'll miss you more than you'll know. And look at that, Chief Ripley. I've come to pay my respects, Armand. I hope you don't mind that I waited until the team had gone. I didn't want to intrude on their grief. I'm so sorry it ended this way. I always knew you had the heart of a lion. Rest in peace, old friend.
Emily was afraid she'd get caught if she tried to sneak out. So when Emily's parents call your cell phone, you call Emily and she calls home.
What was so important to Emily?
Well, Matthew, things have definitely quieted down since we took down Sombra.
You know the dude's name?
Honestly, I've been feeling a bit at loose ends lately. It's like we've saved the world. Where do we go from here? Perhaps now's a good time to make an announcement I've been hesitating over. Matthew, the Bureau was created as a special task force to fight Sombra, and we've achieved our goal. As such, our work here is done. No more Sombra, no more Bureau? I'll admit, I've had potential new employers knocking on my door lately. But I've got used to working with you guys. I'll be sad to leave. It's been great being part of your team, Matthew. You were so dedicated to the hunt for Sombra and always noticed clues others missed. You kept up morale when others faltered, and occasionally sent me the strangest corpses. Our path hasn't been without difficulties, Matthew. We've lost people to death and betrayal. But we've also seen that there's some great beauty in life, from the places we visited to the relationships we forged. If our path hadn't led us to India, I wouldn't have a beautiful son now. And thanks to your investigation back in North Africa, I'm at the love of my life. We've had some crazy adventures, Matthew, like that time we nearly exploded on a volcano island. Remember when we almost got trampled by wildebeest back in Africa? I remember the pandas in China, so many cuddly pandas. It seems we've all got fond memories of our travels together, Matthew. It's been a wild ride. Thank you for sharing these times with us, Matthew, and for everything you've done for us and for the world. I'm not going to lie, Matthew. I'll miss you once we go our separate ways. We're all going to miss Matthew and each other. The Bureau's over, but a new chapter in our lives is about to begin. A new chapter. Wait, that reminds me. Matthew, remember Dupont's notebook? Have you had time to read it? Dupont's great-grandfather really did work with a detective just like you, and they had so many great adventures. Tell us more, Uncle Jack. Here, this is how the story starts. A new marshal joined the force today. I went to meet them at the docks.
Emily Sullivan's cellular company just reported not going call on her phone to a 900 sex line. GPS tracks it to
Greetings, Matthew, and welcome to the city of Concordia. Charles Dupont at your service. We'll be colleagues in the police force. And I'm Detective Madeline O'Malley. We've been anxiously awaiting your arrival. I've glimpsed the recommendation letters we've received about you. Your past work is most impressive. You'll make a spectacular addition to our flying squad. Now let us find our carriage and go for it. On to new adventures, Matthew. To be continued in mysteries of the past.
Oh, hey, this is a murder case. You tell me what's going down?
No.
That's cool. Police business, I dig.
This is not far from where the body was found.
Text message from yesterday. See you
Okay.
later. My daughter texts messages with friends 20 times a day.
I wonder how long the phone company keeps.
I was hoping that Angela and Lars would be back together and Lars would have the heart to forgive her.
Text messages
But
14 days.
it is what it is.
Don't you have time to do anything else?
The trick is the phone has the keypad, so you can text messages in class without looking at your phone. And this is 14.
Right. This stuff is very deep.
November 17th. That is this Thursday. And I'll see you guys for that. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Actually, I nearly forgot about the sticker pack, so not quite see you then just yet.
Help you?
I'm Detective Benson. It's Detective Stabler. Do you have any bad news?
3 new ones.
Your friends with Emily Sullivan?
You guys know damn well that bitch is friend. Go bother her parents. They deserve it.
Just hold on a second. We're from Manhattan Special Victims. This guy was murdered.
5 new ones.
Explain this for you.
Before get lost. We've been trying to get a restraining order against Echo for over a year. Now someone kills her.
5 new ones.
Some kind of tragedy. She made my daughter's life. And God help me, I'm not sorry she's dead.
3 new ones.
All day tomorrow, 9, 8 Central.
Let's see.
Positively entertaining.
Case 4.
Monday on Burn Notice.
Oh, one more and I finished the suspect list.
Michael helps a friend.
Some more.
It's the Sears Veterans Day Appliance event. Save 40% or more on Kenmore appliance hot buys. Like this Kenmore Elite French door refrigerator, now 47%.
Take a look at the other ones.
Save 20% or more on other top appliance brand hot buys. Like this G.
Ice Rage. I might do this case in elite mode, but we'll see.
Sorry, man, no burning here. Try new Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief Gummies. They don't taste chocolate and work fast.
And that'll do. Now I'll see you then.